Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome to Hangin' With. I'm GW Pomichter. Thanks for logging on and tuning in. If you haven't already, go on down and hit that red button and subscribe. If this is your first time, we thank you for hanging with us. We are here tonight hanging via Skype with Bonnie Stanard, the author of her most recent novel, Dust on the Bible, and I understand a new novel coming soon. In fact, just a few weeks, right, Bonnie?
Yes, well, depending on the production schedule, but yes, we expected it within 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, Bonnie, thanks for hanging with us tonight. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing great. South Carolina is a great place to live. The weather here is absolutely beautiful, already turning into summertime, so it's a great place to be now.
I hope y'all didn't get too much rain with all the storms coming through.
Well, we got a lot of rain, and in fact, we've had a very rainy year, compared to the droughts that we had in the earlier years.
Yeah.
But we've had a lot of rain, but it's been great today.
Now, I understand, real quick, in addition to Dust on the Bible, you have several other books out there. And we want to know, you write primarily about the South in general, right? Is that right?
Um, well, I write poetry and I also write short stories. My novels are primarily Southern. My Antebellum series is set in South Carolina on St. Helena Island off the coast. And the latest book, Dust on the Bible, that's in a rural community in the Midlands in 1945. So yes, the novels are Southern, but my stories, I don't think you would necessarily call them Southern.
All right. Well, we'll start with Dust on the Bible. Give us kind of the book cover blurb there. What's on the back of the book for Dust on the Bible?
Oh, of
Kind of tell
course,
us a little bit about the story.
it tells you how wonderful this book is.
Of course it does.
It's about a 12-year-old girl and her farm family. The point of view is the young girl, but she has an extended family. She lives with her grandparents and an uncle and an aunt, both unmarried. And it's a story also about their lives. So it's kind of a family saga rather than just a focus on one person.
Wow. And now, what inspired this story?
This story started out as short stories. I had a number of short stories, and this was quite some time ago. And I realized over time that the characters were the characters seemed to carry from one story to the other, something I was unaware of until I stepped back and took a look at it. And so once I realized that the characters were carrying over from one short story to another, I put them all together, and that's kind of how how the book came about. But another aspect of this is that I had a sister who died when she was 3 years old, and so it was sort of a tragedy, in particular for my mother. She was a handicapped child, and I owe it. My mother suffered many years of silence with this death, and so I thought about this little girl and the life she might have had, you know. So the main character in the story is sort of like a tribute to my sister who died at 3 years old. She died in August, and I was born the following October, so I didn't ever know her, but I knew the impact of her life on my mother. And so because of that, I wanted to write a tribute to her, and I think that's kind of what I did too.
Oh, wow, that is a that's a wonderful story behind the story. It really is. How have readers been responding these past few months since it's been out there?
Oh, I've had good responses. People tell me how wonderful my books are, and I said, well, write it on, can I say Amazon?
Absolutely.
Please put
We're gonna say Amazon a lot, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some links down in the description of this video so people know where to find your books. So
Yes.
you go right on ahead.
Well, I don't think our readers realize how important it is to make comments on Amazon, because that's actually the way you get your marketing, your publicity, that sort of thing. And so I get these wonderful comments and emails, and people will tell me they love story and all of this. And I'll say, well, go, write it on Amazon. And I'll check later, and there's nothing there. What do I have to do? Please put it on Amazon.
Well, we try to tell all of our viewers, if you like an author, if you like a book, if you like a story, write a review, write something nice on Amazon, send a message out on Facebook, because that's how we eat us creative types.
Yes, indeed. Right.
Okay, so now, how long have you been writing, Bonnie?
Well, I've been writing a long time. I've moved a number of times, and I've been editor also of several publications. I think I'd started taking writing more seriously, maybe when my kids went into school. I have 3 grown sons now. But when I didn't take it seriously. I started realizing that I loved writing. It took me a long time to figure out I loved to write. And I had even a college professor that tried to clue me in that I should probably go into writing, but I was so dense then that I didn't even absorb what he was saying. And so I finally came to writing, devoting time to writing, maybe 15 or 20 years ago, after my kids were all out of high school, all out of college. They moved away. And then I started in editing. I was editing a couple of journals. And after I edited those, decided I wanted to write something myself.
Wonderful. Now, since starting to write and starting to publish, what would you say were some of the biggest, most rewarding experiences that you've had as a writer?
Finishing a novel is a wonderful experience.
The day you hit the end, huh?
The end. Well, of course, you've got a lot of the ends before you get to the end. So you start out thinking you have the most wonderful, you've done all you can do. You've worked it, you've reworked it, you've worked it and reworked it, and you send it to your editor. And by the way, I do have a wonderful editor. He's Stephen Bauer with Hollow Tree Literary Services, and he saved me from making so many foolish mistakes. But I would send it to him, and of course I thought it was ready to go. You think you've done your best. And then he sends back this commentary, and you read the commentary, and then you read his notes on your copy, and you say, how did I miss that? What went wrong with my head that I didn't see that? So after I got that back from Stephen, I reworked it. And then, of course, you have to send it. When you rework something, the first thing you do is introduce more mistakes, right? So what you have to do is send it back to Stephen so that he catches those mistakes. Especially one of the novels, I moved the chapters around. I'd pick one chapter, and I must tell you that was devastating. I mean, you have to go back and figure out, well, did he have a horse in this chapter? No, he didn't. And you haven't following. He doesn't have a horse. Then he did have in the wrong time sequence.
Oh my. Yeah, I made the blunder myself of my first book. I adapted it from a screenplay that I had written instead of doing it the other way around. And as you say, as I was novelizing, I was making all new mistakes that I'd have to fix later. So I certainly understand that. Now, do you have a chance to get out and meet your readers very often? Go to book signings or local events, things like that?
Yes, I've been out, and I had the signing. The debut of the novel was at the Lexington County Museum, and it was their open house at Christmas, and that was wonderful. I met a lot of people then.
Wow!
And I've been to the Sparkleberry Country Fair, which is also an affair in Columbia, which is nearby. And I've been to the Casey Festival of the Arts also. These are wonderful events that just pop up out of nowhere. No, they don't come out of nowhere. Somebody works very hard.
Very, very hard. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And then the one that I've been going to annually is Bookham, North Carolina. And you might be interested in going to that. It's You have to get in early. You don't have to pay anything, but when you agree to donate a certain percentage of your sales to, I've forgotten who it is, a nonprofit that they help to support.
Oh, wonderful.
And it's held in February of every year. So
Wow.
that's something that I like to go to, and it gets a lot of traffic of people coming in who are readers that go. And all of the presentations are authors and publishers.
Wow.
Whereas, yeah, some of these events, like the Sparkleberry and the Casey Festival and those sort of things, they have also other artisans. There's also a Low Country Arts Festival that I've been to that's been down in the Low Country of South Carolina, close to Beaufort.
Now, have you
And
enjoyed?
and that's also for authors.
Now, have you enjoyed that a lot, meeting readers and talking to them face to face?
Yes, I do. I guess I do. I'm not a very forward. I like to go with Mike Long, who is a writer with me. He's in my workshop. He's a great salesman. He gets out there. How are you doing? He doesn't come on too strong. He's a Western writer, and he has these wonderful antique guns that he brings with him.
Wow.
So we have this table. He takes them.
Don't mess with Bonnie. Her traveling companion is armed, ladies and gentlemen.
Listen, he knows guns backwards and forwards, but he's the guy who gets out there and is forward and talk. He's not a aggressive salesperson. He's a very comfortable, and so I like to be with him because he's the one that always gets the people to stop and
Sort
talk.
of gets them rolling a little bit, huh? Yeah. Now, I understand you've done some traveling yourself. You've lived in Chicago and Atlanta, and it says Brussels here.
Right. Yes, we lived for 4 years in Brussels, Belgium. It was a wonderful experience. I would recommend it to anybody, as long as you can foot the bill. It's not an inexpensive place to live.
Traveling tends to wear on the purse strings a little bit.
Yeah. In fact, in Brussels is where I did. I think that was my first editing job. There was a monthly magazine called Rendezvous, and it was circulated among the American Women's Club. And
Wow.
oh, I should have brought one. I had some fantastic covers because there was an artist who worked with me, and she provided the covers, the 4-color covers that were spectacular.
Wow, wow. Well, now we've noticed in our interviews and in talking with so many authors, and of course here at the house you can see behind me, writers tend to be readers. So, we want your readers to know a little bit about you personally. What's on your nightstand, Bonnie? What are you reading right now?
I'm reading a book that my husband, actually, I should be reading. What I should be reading, Garrett, is background for what I hope will become another novel, but I'm not reading that. I had to even pick it up and bring it here. It's called The Mystery of Olga Chekova. It's Anton Chekhov's relative of some sort, and
Wow.
it's about. I'm kind of lost in the characters, though. It's about this woman who is in. She's Russia, but it's before the Second World War, and I don't know what's going to happen to her.
Wow.
Anyway, but that's what I'm reading right now.
Wow. Now, what things do you like? In your pastimes when you're not writing or reading, what do you like to do? Do you like you watch television shows, or you like to travel? What kind of things?
Yeah, I like movies.
You like movies? What's the last movie that you saw? Or one that you're looking forward to?
Oh golly, I should have written that down because I go to a movie at least once a month, and I know that sounds pretty scarce when most people, but I don't like the Superman versus Spider-Man sort of movies. I don't like, and I'm not the demographic that Hollywood is looking for.
Yeah.
What I like are the foreign movies and the
Wow.
independent movies. And we do have a theater in Columbia called the Nickelodeon, which it's like a membership. Well, you don't have to be a member, but it's supported by membership. And what they do is they show a lot of the independent movies and foreign movies. Some of the best foreign movies have been coming out of Amsterdam and Denmark and Sweden.
But yeah, so now we know you have a sequel to Dust on the Bible. Do you have a working title for that right now?
What, the sequel?
Yes.
The sequel has had about 25 different titles, and no, all of them have been bad. I think, let's see, what was the latest? In fact, Cindy, who's working on the layout, has just sent me one, and she had to change the title. She made a suggestion. Um, what missing means.
Oh, wow.
It's which applies to the story because there's a missing soldier. The son in the family is missing, and also relatives move in with this already extended family, and so the father in that family is also missing. So it relates to the story.
Oh, wow, that's great. And we're going to be looking for that in the description, everybody out there on the World Wide Web. Remember, in the description, you can find Dust on the Bible and other works by Bonnie Stanard. So we thank you, Bonnie. Before we go, though, I want to ask one more question. I want to find out if you could give a piece of advice to an aspiring young writer, just one, what would it be?
Don't quit your day job. I mean, that's been said before, but and don't be discouraged. If writing and being published were easy, everybody would be stars. And so it takes a lot of time. Also, devote a lot of time and effort to improving your skill. I know my writer's workshop has been a big help to me, and also I think one of the problems with Amazon publications, of course, is there's a plethora of below average books out there, and so people become disillusioned with the trying to find the good books because they go through so many that aren't professionally produced. If you're going to write a book, get an editor, for Christ's sake. I mean, if you're going to be professional, get an editor, get somebody to help you do it, and go to workshops, get some feedback. We get writers in our workshop who become I don't know, maybe annoyed at critiques. And our workshop we're not severe critics, but to accept criticism and to respond to it and build up your own credibility within yourself, to yourself. But you only do that by interacting with other writers and finding out what other writers.
And it's such a fantastic, the writing community is such a fantastic community. We love to read each other's work. We love to take the time to talk with other writers. So I think that's probably the best advice of all is get part of that community and learn your craft. Yes, ma'am. We're going to have to take off, folks. Remember to look in the description down there to find Dust on the Bible and Other Works by Bonnie Stanard. And as soon as we have an update when the new book comes out, we'll make sure we post that to everywhere. As we wrap up, we're going to thank our partners and sponsors over at Something Unique Magazine, Books, Chocolate, and Wine, the Florida Book News, Authors for Authors, and Wordfire Press, as well as our new friends at the Nerdorama Network. I'm G.W. Pomichter, and we've been hanging with Bonnie Stanard, the author of Dust on the Bible. And we want to remind everybody out there, if you haven't already, go hit that red button. Subscribe, log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.